What up, Bucs fans, NFL fans, and betting fans? This is another edition of Pewter Picks and Props, Week 8, and a special Thursday night edition with the Bucs playing against the Bills in Buffalo in prime time on Thursday Night Football. This show is brought to you by PewterReport.com and presented by Underdog Fantasy. Use the promo code Pewter, that's Pewter, to get a first deposit bonus with Underdog Fantasy, so you can play the pick'ems, you can do the in-season tournaments, the rivals as well. A great app for all your football watching, betting, gambling, along with other sports as well. The NBA is back, the NHL is in full swing, so you can do it for all different sports. We are going to focus on the Bucs games, the Bucs player props, and look at some games in the NFL around the league. I'm your host, Matt Matera. Very excited to get back into the saddle because I have to admit, last week was not my best week. It was a bad game for the Bucs, and it was a bad week for gambling as well. So I think something was just going on in Tampa Bay with the picks and the way that the Bucs played. And let's face it, both teams need to do well on Thursday night. The Bills did not look good the past 2 weeks. They barely survived beating the New York Giants on Sunday Night Football, and then they had an upset loss to the New England Patriots on the road last week. The Bucs have lost their last two, so something's got to give. Somebody has to win. I guess the game could end in a tie, but I don't really see that happening. Last week, my NFL record was 2-4-1, but I'm 26-21-2 for the season. My Bucs picks, it's the first time all season I went 0-2, picking the spread and the over-under. But overall, I'm still 9-3. So if you bet with me every single week, if you tailed Matty Diamonds, you still ended up winning money overall this season. And my player props are still doing great. I went 3-2 last week, and I'm 16-6 on the year. But let's not wait any longer. Let's get into my player props for the Bucs and the Bills. Got to pick at least one on each side, but I'm going with 5 picks again in this one, which you'll see right in front of my face because it's a bit of a smaller graphic for this one. Starting off, we're going to go with the most beloved player on the Buccaneers defense, or at least one of them, and that is LVD, Lavonte David. I'm picking higher than 3 assisted tackles for Lavonte David. I mean, he was a tackling machine last week, made 13 overall, including 5 assisted tackles. That was on Sunday against the Atlanta Falcons. After week 2, Lavonte has had at least 3 assisted tackles or more in every single game. He had 4 against Philly, 5 against the Saints, 3 against Detroit, and then, as I said, 5 against Atlanta. So this feels like a steal for Lavonte David. You know he's going to make a ton of tackles. I see him getting much, much more than 3 assisted tackles with all the plays that he is going to make for the Bucs in Thursday night's game. And he's the best linebacker on the team at the moment, so give me higher than 3 assisted tackles for Lavonte David. In the special teams area, I'm going higher than 1.5 field goals for Chase McLaughlin. We know how much the Bucs have struggled on the offensive side of the ball, and they've been even worse when they get into the red zone. They have not executed, and on a short week against a solid team, when you have less time to prepare and make adjustments and everything of that nature, I don't see the offense getting that much better. And Chase McLaughlin, with the exception of one game this season, Chase McLaughlin has at least hit 2 field goals in every single game for the Bucs. I don't see that changing, so I'm taking higher than 1.5 field goals made for Chase McLaughlin. My last pick with the Bucs, this is a pick that has won me a fair amount of money over the season so far. I am going lower than 71.5 total rushing and receiving yards for running back Rachaad White. This isn't even an indictment on Rachaad White as much as it is just the entire run game for the Bucs. It's been absolutely abysmal this season. They looked terrible last week. Now Chase Edmonds comes back. So how much is Chase Edmonds going to take away from the rushing attempts for Rachaad White? Even last week, Rachaad White did not have that many more rushing attempts than Keyshawn Vaughn. And the Bucs only ran it, I believe, 17 times in that game. So I don't know how many rushing attempts he's going to get, especially when they try to change things up in the run game. And I know Rachaad White was great as a receiver last week, but is that going to be the same case every single time in the passing game for the Bucs? I'm willing to bet no. So when you add in just an abysmal run game for the Bucs and Rachaad not going off as a receiver once again, I'm taking lower than 71 and a half rushing and receiving yards for Rachaad White. We'll see if the Bucs can improve, but I just don't think it's going to happen on Thursday night. Moving over to the Bills side of things and keeping with the rushing game, I actually think this is going to be a bounce back for the Bucs run stopping defense that allowed over 150 and more rushing yards to the Atlanta Falcons. Now, the Bills has been a little bit of a different story. I actually have James Cook on my fantasy team, so I've been a little more in tune with what's going on with the Bills' run game. He fluctuates so much. He'll have one great game and then regress and then be great again and then regress. I think he's going to struggle because the Bucs are going to put an emphasis on stopping the run to right the wrongs that they had last week. The Bills also have a pretty heavy rotation with James Cook. Latavius Murray gets a lot of attempts. Josh Allen is always fleet of foot, and he's running around. And when they get into the goal line, Latavius Murray has had some rushing attempts, and they love to go power with Josh Allen. So Josh Allen may end up stealing a number of rushing attempts from James Cook. So you add that all together, and I'm taking lower than 51 and a half rushing yards for James Cook. And sticking with Josh Allen, I have higher than 262 and a half passing yards for Josh Allen in this game. We know that the Bucs like to play soft zone defense, allow everything underneath them. Even last week against the Falcons, Desmond Ridder and that offense was able to move the ball down the field, and then the Bucs were able to be stingy like they've been all season long in the red zone. That's why they're number one in red zone efficiency. But that doesn't mean you're not getting yards down the field till you get inside the 20. So Josh Allen struggled over the past couple of weeks, but we've seen this before with him, where once the doubter starts saying, oh, what's up with Josh Allen? He's not the same guy that he is. Then he goes and has a monster game and proves why he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league. So I think Josh Allen has one of those bounce back games and throws for higher than 262 and a half passing yards. So one more time, my picks for the player props in Thursday night's game: Levante David higher than 3 assisted tackles; Rachaad White lower than 71 and a half rushing and receiving yards; Chase McLaughlin higher than 1.5 field goals made; Josh Allen higher than 262 and a half passing yards; and James Cook lower than 50 and a half rushing yards. What I'm picking for the Bucs game with the spread and the over-under, believe it or not, I'm actually going to take the Bucs plus 8.5 on the road against Buffalo. I think that defense keeps it very, very close for Tampa Bay, as they've done a number of times this season. The Bucs are 2-0 on the road and 2-0 against the spread when they're on the road. So that kind of bodes well for Tampa Bay. The Bills, on the other hand, have not played too well at home. They have not covered the last 2 times that they were the home team. And like I said, the Bucs are still a very talented team, and the defense keeps things together. So give me the Bucs plus 8.5. I don't think they're going to win, but I definitely think that they can keep it within a touchdown. So give me Bucs plus 8.5. In terms of the over-under, the under is 42.5. I have to take the under in this. The Bucs have hit the under in all but one game this season. There are times they haven't even come remotely close to reaching that. So just by the odds, I have to take the under of 42.5. Also, the Bills have gone 4-2 with the under in games where the spread was at least between 40 and 49 points. So you add all that up together, taking the under 42.5. I'm also going to do a prop bet of Mike Evans anytime touchdown, strictly for the fact that the Bucs don't score a lot of touchdowns, but when they do, it's usually Mike Evans that is getting the football. So give me Bucs plus 8.5, Mike Evans anytime touchdown, and the under of 42.5. And again, don't forget that you can play a lot of these player pick'ems and everything like that over at Underdog Fantasy. Use the promo code Pewter. That's PEWTER. Get a first deposit bonus with using that promo code Pewter. All right, let's get to my NFL picks of the week, starting off with the Pittsburgh Steelers. They are plus 2.5 underdogs at home against the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm taking the Steelers in this game because there is a stat. I don't have the exact numbers in front of me, but Mike Tomlin is head coach of the Steelers. When he is gambling-wise an underdog, has an astronomical winning percentage of covering and just winning games outright when they are on the plus side of the points and not the favorite. So as underdogs, there's a chance that the Steelers can win outright, especially since they are at home with the odds of Mike Tomlin as an underdog as head coach. Love those stats. So give me the Steelers plus 2.5 at home against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Next up, Rams at Cowboys. I am taking the under of 45. The under for both the Rams and the Cowboys has hit for each team in their last 3 games. These teams can put up points. They can also play very solid defense. So just based on the odds of everyone going under the last 3 games, I am taking the under again in this one of 45. Next up, Vikings against the Packers. This is a pick'em, and I'm picking the Minnesota Vikings to defeat the Green Bay Packers. The Vikings are coming off a huge win against the San Francisco 49ers. They've won 3 out of their last 4 and are very much back on track. The Packers have no offense. They don't get their offense going until late in the fourth quarter. They just lost to the Denver Broncos in a game that they really should have won. So I'm continuing to ride the train of the momentum for the Minnesota Vikings. I'll take them in a pick'em. Next, I have over 45 with the Bengals at the 49ers. Now, this line may change quite significantly because as the show is being filmed, there was reports a little bit ago that Brock Purdy, the 49ers quarterback, is in concussion protocol, which means that Sam Darnold, would be the starting quarterback for the 49ers. Got to give a shout out to Kyle Shanahan, though. They say that his offense is quarterback proof. I know Deebo Samuel's injured, but this offense is still really, really good. I know they struggled against the Vikings a little bit, but they can put up points. The Bengals are getting healthier. They had a bye last week. Joe Burrow, that calf is feeling much, much better. I think they're really going to study the tape on how Kirk Cousins and the Vikings offense, without Justin Jefferson, I might add, were able to throw the ball all over the field against the 49ers. So I think the Bengals will be able to put up a solid number against a really good 49ers defense. And I think even with Sam Darnold, there's an opportunity for the 49ers to score. Just rely on Christian McCaffrey. So I'm taking the over of 45. And my last pick of the week, by the way, my lock of the week is going to be the Steelers plus 2.5 against the Jaguars. My last pick of the week, it's the Chiefs on the road, but they are a 7-point favorite against the Denver Broncos. I think the Chiefs are really starting to get it together, and they had been winning without really playing great football. And are we really buying the Denver Broncos just for the fact that they beat the Packers? No, I don't think so. I think the last game that the Chiefs and the Broncos played, which was just 2 weeks ago, the Chiefs were messing around. They were getting in their own way at times, a couple of odd turnovers for them. I think they kind of get a little more serious the second time around against the Broncos. Denver isn't a threat. Their offense isn't good. The Chiefs' defense is way better than people give them credit for. A while ago, we were all laughing at how bad the Broncos' defense has been. They've gotten much better, but it's Patrick Mahomes, it's Travis Kelce, it's Isaiah Pacheco. I'll take the Chiefs -7 against the Broncos in Denver for that game. So one more time, my picks. My lock of the week, Steelers at home +2.5 against the Jaguars. Rams, Cowboys under 45. Vikings in a pick'em on the road against the Packers. Over 45 with the Bengals at the 49ers. And last but not least, Chiefs -7 on the road against the Broncos. So those are my Bucs picks, my Bucs player props, and my NFL picks. I know the show and the game for the Bucs is coming out on Thursday. They play Thursday night, but my NFL picks are still good over the weekend. So feel free to tune into the show when you get an opportunity to. That would be great. Please like and subscribe to this video. If you're a fan of Matty Diamonds, if you're a fan of my picks, would really appreciate that. In the meantime, please follow us on our social media at Pewter Report. We are at Pewter Report on Twitter, Facebook, Threads, and Instagram. And, of course, our YouTube channel is Pewter Report TV. Please like and subscribe to that so we can keep growing our audience on our YouTube. And, of course, my social media, you can see it in the handle here, is at Matty4_Matera, Matera, over on Twitter or X. And then on Instagram, just take out the 4, and it's Matty_Matera, Matera, over on the IG. So that'll do it for me this week. Appreciate you guys all watching the show. Let's win some money. We're due. Had a bad week last week. We're going to bounce back this time around in week 8. Thank you. Peace out.